see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much.
Reduce your risk.
Hello, welcome to Schools Not Out, your daily classroom for CSEC and CAPE students. You can watch this lesson in real time on Television Jamaica YouTube channel or on onespotmedia.com. We also are on Music 99 and gojamaica.com. If you have questions on today's subject, CSEC Sociology, you can send them to Television Jamaica's Facebook page or Instagram at television_Jamaica. Today's lesson is on Unit 2 MCQ. I am your lecturer for the day, Orville Beckford. Welcome. We start today by looking at multiple choice questions for Unit 2. Now, here's the thing about Unit 2. It is important that you understand that Unit 2 involves a tremendous amount of reading. Why? It deals a lot of applied sociology. So we apply it to population, we apply it to health, we apply it to development, we apply it to the environment. So this is really applied sociology. So what we're looking for is not so much for you to SWOT, but for you to understand so that you can answer these questions, because they are not all just recall skills. A number of them you really have to think. What I've done, I've set a number of questions that some of which are a little difficult, but just to show you how these questions are when you see them on the multiple choice question paper and how to deal with them. So I've given a wide variety covering the entire syllabus for the Unit 2. So copy those, not so difficult. So we start first by looking at question 1, which of the following is not a popular control measure. Now this one, almost all of them sound correct. Legislation, Malthusian, contraceptive, Planned Parenthood. But which one is the most appropriate? Which one is the best one? We say it is legislation, because legislation by itself is not a control, but legislation can put in place controls. Caribbean nations may be hesitant to participate in population control programs, question 2, because 1, they are illegal, 2, they are ineffective, 3, of religious belief, or 4, rebellion. This one, again, relatively close, but here we have religion, religious belief, because, I mean, some people may be hesitant to participate in population control program, but in terms of all of them, it is the one that is most correct is of religious belief. And question 3, of the following, identify that which is not an effect of population growth. Notice the term is not an effect of population growth. So when you look at them, drought, slums, unemployment, famine, the best one still seems to be drought. So we move on to question 4. Caribbean policymakers may neglect implementation of population control measures because of course, there's a lot of reasons. 1, religion. 2, fear that it is imperialism. 3, lack of funding. And 4, demonstration by the masses. Yes, they may fear demonstration by the masses, but it is lack of funding. Because sometimes the policymakers really want to implement, but government have a fixed amount of income, a fixed amount of taxes that they get, and so there are so many calls on government money, but so few that they can do. All right, fecundity, that one people tend to get mixed up with fertility. And so we hear that fecundity is crude birth rate, crude death rate, the number of live births per year, a population capacity to have children. That's what it is, a population capacity to have children. So we speak about the fecundity. That is, they either have this ability to have plenty of children or not many children. And so it should not be mixed up with fertility rate. So I'll set your question afterwards on fertility rate. So we have here fertility rate measures, a population capacity to have children under Planned Parenthood, the number of live births per year, average number of children born to women of childbearing age, and national increase in the population. So fertility rate has to deal with women of childbearing age. So once we see average number of children born to women of childbearing age, we know that that is the correct one. Which of the following does not affect crude birth rate? And so they give you a number of things that are all involving secularization. So secularization and availability of contraceptives, no. Secularization, educational focus of women, no. Secularization and an aging population, no. Secularization and the dependency ratio. Because notice it said, which does not affect the crude birth rate. So you know that your dependency ratio is how many people in the household working vis-a-vis how many people in the household total. And so, so the answer here is D. Which of the following is not a popular measure used by demographers? Here again, we have a very difficult choice, except for one. So we have multiplier effect, natural increase, human development index, dependency ratio. We come back, notice, not a measure used by demographers. The multiplier effect is used by economists. We are aware of it as sociologists, yes, but it's not really used by demographers. Humans move from place to place in search of food. This phenomenon, of course, this takes you back to your first form, grade 7 history, grade 8 history, where we speak of people who move from place to place in search of food. So is it migration? Not quite. Immigration? Not quite. Emigration? Not quite. But nomadism. So we speak of a nomad as a person who moves from place to place in search of food. So originally, when mankind started, they moved from place to place in search of food. So wherever they found a lot of food, they would stop and set up a city, as the case may be. Which country has persons making permanent move into its society? So here now, we're asking you to have clear definition of immigration, emigration, and migration. So it said migration, they said move, makes permanent moves. Immigration, urbanization, not sure. And the emigration, the correct answer is immigration. So you're an immigrant. So you immigrate. So we move on next. From among the following, identify a migration pull factors. Now remember, for migration, we have push factors and we have pull factors. Push factors are factors that want you have to migrate. Pull factors, what is luring you abroad? What is luring you to the place that you're migrating to? Because you can also have internal migration, where you're moving from the rural, to the urban. So we have push factors. What is pushing me? What is causing me to leave? And we have pull factors. What is there alluring, pulling me to come? So here we said, from among the identify migration, pull factors. Education opportunity, crime, I'm not sure crime would pull it to somewhere. Unemployment, not so sure unemployment would also pull it to somewhere either. Sickness, would sickness pull me to somewhere? No, so the answer there is educational opportunity. And so it's important that you get these definitions clear in your mind in terms of what we mean by them. Advantages, so occasionally we have questions like these now where more than one response is correct. So you have to reason them through and figure which ones are correct. So we have here advantages of an influx of people from other countries. So when people come in to live in Jamaica, are the advantages to the population of Jamaica, to us other people? So we have 1, importation of skilled labor, 2, urbanization, 3, cultural change, cultural exchange, and then we also have remittances. Which one seems more correct? Let's check them. Importation of skilled labor, yes. Urbanization, not quite. Cultural exchange, yes. Advantage influx. Remittances is the other way around. People who leave, then send back remittances. So, so what we have here is 1 and 3. Importation of skilled labor and cultural exchange. So that is the correct one, which would be C. 2 advantages of people emigrating are, and we have remittances and brain drain. Advantages, so notice advantages. Brain drain would be a disadvantage. Remittance and population reduction, so you put a little tick beside one, possible. Brain drain again, no. Remittances and reduction in unemployment. 2 advantages of people emigrating, no. Remittances and population reduction, because it doesn't mean that all of who emigrate, move on, were working, were in jobs. Which of the following best describes sustainable development? Now, it's necessary to understand sustainable development if you are to understand development. And what are we required to do to ensure that we have sustainable development in Jamaica? So one of them we have ensuring that people can immigrate from the country. I wouldn't see it as an element of sustainable development. Ensuring that the next generation have access to the same amount of flora and fauna. That I put a tick beside it to come back to it. Ensuring that the next generation have access to the same amount of technology. No, technology is moving, so day after day they have access to more technology. Development by the government. So we come back to look at B, ensuring that the next generation have access to the same amount of flora, all the different plant life that we have, at least that same amount. They could have access to more, and of course fauna, in terms of all the animal life that we have. And so that one best describes sustainable development. So we move on. So 15, which of the following is not one of Comte's stages of development? Now remember Auguste Comte. So when we discuss development, we say, but that's over in sociology. Yes, because this is actually Unit 2 sociology. Auguste Comte had put forward 3 ways in which the world has developed over time, historically. So so here we're asking you, which of them is not one of the 3? The theological, tick yes in my head. The metaphysical, yes in my head. The industrial, not so sure. The positive, yes. So therefore then, it would be the industrial. So for Comte, the 3 stages of development were the theological, the metaphysical, and the positive. The positive being that scientific stage. So which of the following is not an indicator of economic development? So here we have, remember, for economic development is different from economic growth. For economic growth, we're talking about looking at the increase in GDP. How we define GDP? Increase in the amount of goods and services or output within a given period within the economy. Generally, that given period is a year. So here now we talk about economic development, which is more than just economic growth. Because economic development have economic growth because we need money to grow, but we also have a number of other issues which we have discussed in terms of economic development. So here we have life expectancy, which of the following is not. So life expectancy is a measure of economic development because how old people live until can give you an idea of how well the country is doing and the quality of life. Gender equality in all areas of society, yes, because one of the issues with respect to economic development is what's happening to women. Are women being victimized? Are women not having equality? Because in some countries, women can't hold driver's license, they can't own property, they have to walk behind their husbands and so on. And so when we look at that country in terms of the developmental index, we would say no, because there's an issue with respect to gender. Political affiliation, not quite. Our country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, our level of development is going to be affected by how we respond, the type of measures that the government is putting in place. Some of them are annoying, I tell you, very annoying, because you have to get home by a certain time. You have to come off the street. I can't talk to you because you have no mask. All of these things, but guess what? They are necessary, muy necesario, very necessary. And so how we respond to them will indicate our level of development when this is over. And so we have to be inconvenient now to ensure that we can get ahead. So the one that we choose here is political affiliation. Of course, that one really has not much to do with development. So we have, which of the following is true about statement about dependency theory? If you remember that theory, then it will be difficult. So remember, there are a number of development theories that you have to know for this course. Dependency is one of them. Modernization is one of them, convergence is one of them, and also we speak about plantation society theory. So which of the following statements is true about dependency theory? It was developed by Gunda Frank. 1, it addressed the uneven development of the world. 2, it addressed the increase in similarity between polarized groups. And 4, it addressed the expansion of capitalism and its monopolistic tendency. Now, 1, 2, 3, we have a look at it addresses increasing similarity between polarization. That one is convergent theory. That addressed that. Dependency theory did not address that type of conversion. So it's really 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. So 1, 2, and 4 is D. Still on we're going to modernization theory. Economic theory of modernization is proposed by, here we're asking who it is. From time to time, it is important for you to remember this theory is associated with which theorist, and so on. Modernization, with who? So we also talk about world system theory, Wallerstein. So it is necessary to remember exactly who brought up the theory. So here we have Rostow, can put a little tick. Talcott Parse, no. Emmanuel Wallerstein, no, because that was world system. Gunda Frank, no. That was dependency. So here the answer is Rostow. Which of the following is not a criticism of modernization? Notice the term is not, because so often we ignore that term and realize that which of the following is not a criticism of modernization theory. So we have a number of them. We have is economically deterministic, which is yes. Takes a linear approach, yes, in terms of modernization. Linear approach means it just follow A, follow B, follow C, linear. Ignore the impact of slavery and colonization. We could say, yes. It's culturally relative. No. It almost goes against the first one, because if it's economically deterministic, then hardly likely that it's going to be culturally relative. So the answer there is culturally relative. So we move on now to number 20. In world system theory, so again, remember world system theory, we spoke about those in the core, those in the semi-periphery, and those in the periphery. So the rich countries are the countries in the poor, the developing countries and undeveloped countries are the countries in the periphery. Then we have the semi-periphery, which include places like China, Japan, Brazil, and those other countries. And so here we ask you, which are the following factors within, in world system theory, 20, the external arena is best described. Now, remember, we have core, periphery, semi-periphery. Purchasing goods only from countries external to the core, no. Purchasing only external items from the core, that one is almost ludicrous. Having no contact or relationship with the core, possible. Internal to the core, but external to the periphery, no. Here, when they speak of the external arena, they speak of these countries that stay outside of the world system, completely outside of the world system. Do not interact with neither the core nor the periphery. So the one here that is correct is having no contact or relationship with the core. So that is the correct one. Which are the following factors within globalization are disadvantageous to Caribbean countries? Globalization is a wide area. It circumnavigates a number of areas with respect to development, the development theories, issues of population, what's happening now, poverty, all of them. It circumnavigates all of them. So you have to understand and be able to reason out the issue of globalization. So here we are saying that which are the following factors within globalization are disadvantageous, mean negative for Caribbean societies. Importance paid to intellectual property rights, is that disadvantageous to us? Don't think so. Advance in technology, is that disadvantageous to us? Not quite. Consumers are now able to procure a wide range of goods. Is that disadvantageous to us? No. The risk of losing domestic businesses? Yes, because when globalization started, what you would have read was that, so we have all of these firms now coming in to do business in the Caribbean. So for example, a woman in Carnation Market, one is from St. Elizabeth and another one is from Kingston. The one from St. Elizabeth is selling Irish potato for $50 a pound. The one beside her from Kingston is selling the same Irish potato for $25 a pound. How come? We ask, how come? Because of course, the one with the one for $25, that is imported from the United States. A place in the United States that grows tremendous amount of Irish potatoes is Idaho. So they have such major economies of scale that they can send art potato to Jamaica and sell it in the market for $25. So who is going to lose? The lady from St. Elizabeth going to pack up her things them because they just won't be sold. And so here, when you look at the risk of losing domestic market, that's what happened initially with globalization. We lost a tremendous amount of indigenous market. We used to have a company making blender on South Camp Road near Robart. They closed. We used to have people off Spanish Town Road, close to the 3 Mile area, making stoves, making all manner of things, fridge. They also closed right after globalization. So we lost a lot of domestic market. So we know that that one is correct. So we have four only. So we move on now to the issue of, once we start the strain theory. What it means is that we are now dealing with issue of crime and deviance. And so this is a most popular theory. It would have been at the once you start to read about crime and deviance, then we start to look at it from the point of view of the sociological theories. We said to you in Unit 1, and we reiterate again at the start of Unit 2, once you understand the sociological theories, you almost can tell how they look at just about anything, even before you read it. But you have to make sure that you understand functionalism, the major ones, you understand Marxist conflict, you understand interactionism, and you understand feminism. So once you understand the theories, you're in a better position to say how they look at things. Now, strain theory was a particular theory. So strain theory can be associated with, we have A. Merton, B. Cohen, C. Durkheim, D. Sutherland. Of course, if you have been reading, you know that Merton was the one associated with strain theory. Why do some crimes go unreported? There are some questions you almost can reason out, even if you weren't associated with Sociology Unit 2. So let's look at them. Some crimes, some not reported because they are seen as too trivial. True or false? Yes. Some are seen very trivial. In fact, one that is seen very trivial is when a male goes to the police station to explain to them that his wife has introduced violence to him. And so they tend to laugh. Individuals believe that the police might not do anything about the crime. That is true, because people believe that I report the crime, nothing is done. Why do I keep reporting the crime if nothing is done? Due to embarrassment caused by the crime. And this is true of a number of crimes, including financial crime and including the issue of rape. And so that is also true. So which of the crimes, why do some crimes go unreported? Of course, all of the above. All of the above. I've put in a number of questions with all of the above just to draw your attention to the individual areas with respect to the topic. So here, why crimes go unreported, so you can know all of them. 24, which of the following is not an informal agent of social control? Which of the following, again, is not an informal agent? So of course you figure that there is no structured way of dealing with it, of dealing with social control. Family, that is informal because you learn social control. So stop that, don't go outside, shut them out and sit one side, behave yourself. So family. Religion, also informal. The church tells you don't do that, don't commit fornication, don't steal, that's still informal. The judicial system. Once you see that, you're saying to yourself, but this sounds formal, because courts are formal systems. So of course we tick that one. Education, again, formal and informal, and so the one that is more correct there is the judicial system. Which of the following theorists argue that deviance is functional? So of course we figure now it must be a functional theorist, because if they are saying that deviance plays a functional role in society, so we have to look at which of these theories would best explain that. So Durkheim and Merton, they are functionalists, but in terms of that deviance is functional, those two is more correct. Durkheim and Cohen, no, Cohen wasn't that. Durkheim and Sutherland, we come back to Sutherland because Sutherland was not that. Durkheim, Clorard and Olin, no. Claude and Olin spoke differently. We'll come back to them again to other questions about deviance. So the first one here is Durkheim and Merton. They are functionalists, and two other functionalists who have spoken more about deviance than anybody else. Which of the following is an alternative to punishment? Of course, this one too can speak for itself. Is beating an alternative? Beating is punishment. For those of us who grew up in the 60s and 70s, God help us, we got a whole lot. But of course, we love our parents just the same. Imprisonment, that itself is punishment. Counseling, no, not quite. Because, okay, so you have a friend of mine was jumping up and down on his father's table and broke the table in two. The poor little family didn't have any money to buy another table. The father sat him down and counseled him for about 3 hours. Of course, him still beat him. But anyway, counseling is an alternative to punishment. Of course, death, no, death by itself is most severe punishment. And so we know it is not that one. So we move on. Which of the following are the main causes of poverty in the Caribbean? So we have a number of reasons why we have poverty in the Caribbean. We have large families. Yes, so we have more families than we can afford to feed. More families, more members of the family than we can afford to house. More families than we can afford beds. And so we kind of tick that one. Unemployment, main cause of poverty, of course. If you're not working, we're going to find money from to pay your rent, to buy food, and so on and so forth. Education could be, so we in our mind. Historical and political factors in our mind to say yes, could be, and so on. So we want to combat now. Which of the following is the main cause? So let's see which one is the odd man out. If you're educated, you're less likely to be in poverty. Not that all of us who have education are rich, but we at least have a way of upward social mobility out of the poverty. So even as a student, you are now poor, but as soon as you pass your CAPE very well, go to university and get your degree and start work, then you can elevate yourself out of the poverty. So, so education would have been the one out. So it will be then 1, 2, and 4, and D is 1, 2, and 4. Which of the following are poverty alleviation programs in the Caribbean? Now, throughout the course, once we're dealing with poverty, they showed you, especially in the 2 CAPE books, they showed you how different countries attack poverty. And so there are a number of things that are common to them. So I've picked a number of them so you can have an idea that throughout the Caribbean, these are poverty alleviation strategies. So we see that 1, social investment fund. Yes, we have one in Barbados, there's also one in Belize. Some school feeding programs. Yes, we have a number of school feeding programs throughout the Caribbean. Food stamp program. Yes, we still have a number of food stamp programs throughout the Caribbean. All of the above, so it is all of the above. So all of these are poverty alleviation programs that we have in the Caribbean. According to Seabaum Roundtree, which 3 aspects of social life is needed to avoid absolute or subsistent poverty? So of course, we start to look at what are some of the issues. Of course, food, clothing, and friends. You need friends, but food, clothing, and shelter, that one sounds correct. Food, internet, and shelter, so what? Those who do have internet not surviving? No. Church, food, and shelter, so those who don't go to church not surviving either. So we come back, food, clothing, and shelter. And so the last one before we break, the theorists who spoke about poverty being functional to society. Of course, it must be a functionalist, because we said it is functional to society. But which of them specifically said that poverty must be functional? And it was not Durkheim, not Marx, not Oscar Lewis, it was Howard Ganks. That's who it was. So we can take one more question before the break that you can ponder with when you go on the break. Which of the following institution is not involved in measuring poverty in the Caribbean? Of course, the World Bank, being an international organization, they measure poverty. CSME, not quite. UNDP does, PAHO does, so the odd one out is a CSME. So we're hoping that you're following. These are important areas, and so more on schools not out after the break. So stay right with us. Don't go too far, but stay with social distance. Have a good day. See you later.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.
COVID-19 tip. Protect yourself and others from getting sick by washing your hands after coughing or sneezing, when caring for the sick, before, during, and after you prepare food, before eating, after toilet use, when hands are visibly dirty, and after handling animals or animal waste.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.
COVID-19 tip.
Welcome back to Schools Not Out, your daily classroom for CSEC and CAPE subjects. Today we have been discussing the Unit 2 multiple choice paper, and we will continue. So come with us as we continue. So we were at number 32. The situational constraint theory, again, that's a specific theory. You either know it or you don't know it. The situational constraint theory explains why people are poor, so they give a number of reasons why people are poor. One, the amount of money that people spend on clothes. Was that what they would say? No. So although we can understand some people love the fashionista thing, and so they spend a lot of money on clothes, but we just think you have to spend it. So if you're poor, you're not going to have it to spend. Discrimination they face in the job market, yes, possibility, because there are some people, because of where they live, where they are from. Because remember, when we did social stratification, we have social stratification by geography. Depending on where you live, remember Itana song, wrong address, go back and listen to it. Because what it's saying to you that where you're from will determine your life chances, believe it or not. So we tick that one, that's a possibility. Failed masculinity, you're poor because people don't think you're a real man. Not quite. And political tribalism, whereas it can contribute to the overall nation being poor, but the situational constraint theory did not address the issue of political tribalism. So the correct one is discrimination they face in the job market, according to the situational constraint theory. Which of the following theories is mainly concerned about how crime is defined in society? How crime is defined in society. Now, when we think of functionalists, no, crime serves a function, and so for them, crime serves a function. If you think of it, if you move crime out of society, you can imagine the amount of social institution that will crumple. What will happen to prisons and all those warders who work in the prison, those people who supply the prison with food and clothes and so on. So all of those institutions, if crime disappears, what do we do with police and soldier? Why do we need police and soldier? and so on. So which is why it is important for us to think. So that's not functionalism. Marxist conflict, that one sounds correct, because according to the Marxists, crime happens because of how people define crime. So you notice that there are certain things that in the United States the president can do and is not called a crime. Were it somebody else, especially of a different color, then it will be called a crime. And so these are issues that, so the conflict theory spoke on those things. Labeling, no. Differential opportunities, no. Functionalist, obviously, no. So we move on to the next one. Some Caribbean youths turn to drug trafficking to realize their goals. R.K. Merton would view this phenomena as, and we have a number of them. Some youths turn to crime, to drug trafficking to realize their goals, and so this will be viewed as innovation. In order to live up to the goals of society, they're not able to normally, so therefore they invent ways which are normally illegal ways in order to get the same goals that you and I have. And so this is what we call innovation. Next one, which of the following is not a characteristic of deviance? It's socially constructed because it depends on where you are, how it is defined, how it is seen. So it is socially constructed. Accompanied by social stigma, definitely. If you're a thief, people are going to avoid you. If you keep breaking the law, people are going to avoid you. Perceptions change over time. What may have been illegal during the time of Nanny, Sam Sharp, is not illegal now. And so perceptions change over time. Stagnant personality, this is not a characteristic of deviance. Stagnant personality means you're really not going anywhere, but it does mean you turn to crime as a result. Next, identify the statement that is not true. So you start out by saying, Marxists believe that, so this one you have to be very careful now, because here, and I deliberately put in this one to give you something on each of the major theories and theorists, so you can know. I call them by name so you can have an understanding and a remembrance of what are their contribution to the issue of crime and deviance. So Marxists believe that structural inequalities that exist in capitalist society are responsible for the crimes those society experience. Again, notice which one is not true. Once Marxist and capitalism, you know that there's some level of truth, because they are saying that it is structural inequalities that cause people to turn to crime, so they are correct. Cloward and Olin address the issue of how young people use illegitimate opportunities, structures to achieve success. Again, you have to make sure you have read Cloward and Olin, and this is correct, that they address the issue of how young people use illegitimate opportunities, structure, to achieve success. So then we have now Lombroso argued that there are psychological issues that force people into crime. Where the statement is true, it is not associated with Lombroso. If you remember, Lombroso was the one that looked at biological factors. The fact that you're born with certain physical deformities force you into crime. That was his saying, that there are biological reasons why you turn to crime. And so that one is not correct. Cohen argued that young men suffered from status frustration due to their lack of rank and standing. This is one of the things that lead to crime. That was Cohen's argument, that how young men feel about their standing in society, how they feel about how the society sees them, because society expects a dominant, a hegemonic male. So if you fenke, then how wrong with you? Or you're a big man and you want to fenke. The society have a social construction of a hegemonic male, a dominant male. So if you seem to lack rank and status in society, some people will internalize it and turn to crime. So the correct one there would be C, Lombroso, because he didn't argue for that. He argued about how physical deformities can lead to crime. 37, it is important for Sherry to do well in school. As a result, she cheats in tests. According to Merton, she is, and here now we're asking you to critically think. So we don't ask you directly about all of the things from Merton in terms of conformists and so on and so forth. We give you a scenario and ask you which one of them seems correct. And so notice, in order for her to do well, she cheats. So that is, of course, the innovator. That is the one where you seek illegal means in order for you to keep up with society. So conflict theorists, conflict theorists, emphasize that the value of society serve all members of society, hardly likely. See a capitalist ruling class as protecting the masses. Notice, you have to read this thing carefully. The capitalist ruling class is never protecting the masses. C, argue that criminal acts are acts which the ruling class brand as criminal. You can say, that kind of makes sense. D, are associated with none of the above. So C, they argue that criminal acts are acts which ruling class brands as criminal. Labeling theories. So they label you, you're worthless, you're not going to come to anything. You're good for nothing and so on. That's how we keep telling teachers, don't label students. Say, Robert, you need to do some more work on the maths. You're not doing so well. But don't say, Robert, you're done like that. You're not going to be that maths saying no. No, you don't label people. So we say that labeling theories focus on why individuals engage in deviant behavior. Not quite. Contend that some acts, for example, rape, are inherently criminal. Yeah, but not labeling theorists. Contend that labeling people as deviant has no effect on them. No, they didn't say that. Contend that persons labeled deviant evolve a deviant identity and pursue a career of deviant. So if you keep telling me that I'm worthless, you're just like your papa, you're good for nothing. In fact, a criminal you're done, your papa was a criminal and you're going to turn a criminal too. So you just oblige. Because if you think I'm going to turn a criminal, why should I disappoint your mommy? Why should I disappoint you? I just become a criminal too, since that's what you expect. And so that's what we mean. So that's the correct one, that contend that persons labeled deviant evolve a deviant identity and pursue a career in deviant. That's why don't label students. Don't label children. One reason for the prevalence of crime in society is that criminal behavior is learned. The main proponent of this thesis is, you should know that, because that one is Sutherland. So it's specific to him that one reason for the prevalence of crime in society is that criminal behavior is learned too. He's saying just like how the culture of the society is learned, then criminal behavior is also learned. So when children are born down at Jubilee, them don't born being a criminal. No, society, they said, according to the functionalists, would turn them into criminals. Functionalists view social control as operating in favor of the powerful. B, an indispensable functional requirement of social structure. C, a source of chaos and frustration in modern society. And the last one, the result of conflict among the major groups in society. So which one is it? So we look at B, an indispensable functional requirement for social survival. Because remember, for the functionalists, these things are happen so that you can survive. Functionalists view social control as operating in favor of powerful groups, and so we did that one already. So 42. So we move on. We soon finish. Which of the following is one of Hershey's four-part bond which influence social conformity? We have affection, involvement, attachment, commitment. So we know that it's not that affection is the one out, because belief is this fourth one. Belief. 43. Why should the Caribbean be concerned about climate change? One, global warming, yes, we're concerned. Rising sea levels, yes, we are concerned. Frequency of strong hurricane, we are concerned. And all of the above, we are concerned. So this will be available to the ministry. Your teacher can contact the ministry to get a copy of it, including the solution set. That's all for today. We know you're one step ahead of us, and so you will do your work, and we wish you all the best in the exam. So, good. So you can watch a repeat of today's lesson on JNN at 5 p.m. and in Schools Not Out highlights on Saturday between 1 and 4 p.m. It also will be on video on demand on onespotmedia.com. Next up is CSEC Maths with Karima Mundal, Thomas, and Latoya Shariah. So stay tuned.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from